So we put the monitors on custom stands that were designed to Dennis's specs, filled with carbon. And I added another feature to it, which was to put a spigot in the bottom that the pillar of the stand would fit on top, that we would be able to rotate each speaker while in place to get an accurate toe-in angle. Well, the first thing I noticed once I started playing music in here was the low end. How defined the bass was, how tight the kick drum was. There was just, before I'd be playing music in here, you'd hear, the mids and the highs, you could hear everything clearly, but the bass would just be like this, just things would be rumbling, things would just be boomy. And, not every song, but a lot of songs with certain types of low end content, all of that disappeared. And it was just like focused, and there it was, like right there. And that blew me away. I was hearing things in songs. There's elements in songs that I didn't even know were there. Things and a clarity, like if someone was like snapping their fingers while they were singing, you can hear the finger snapping. You can hear like mouth noises and just things that you just wouldn't have heard before were coming out, just jumping out at you. So the next step was to add diffusion to the room. Mixing on one end, tracking on the other end. We had to have a diffuser that would work for both applications. So Dennis suggested I go with the QD13 quadratic diffuser. And so we made 5 of those with cherry wood mounted to bases that were also filled with carbon. Adding the diffusers really made it noticeable that the back part of the wall needed treatment, because it would reflect off the back walls that were untreated and create a flutter echo in the middle of the room that had like a high-pitched ring to it. And it was really annoying, which it wasn't there before. Each time you add an element in, it's going to solve something, but it's also going to expose something else that needs to be treated. And that was 100% true. And without the diffusers, it wasn't there, but the diffusers in, the ring was there and the flutter echo. And so the next step was to address those back walls on the side. To solve the flutter echo, Dennis had me make 4 more diaphragmatic bass absorbers, and they went along the side walls towards the back half of the room on either side. And that got rid of it just like that. So this was the first time I've ever heard music with a wall of diffusion behind me. And it completely blew my mind, because it's like the back wall completely disappears. And now all I'm hearing is the music that's right in front of me coming at me. And it was crystal clear. It was just, like I said, it was foreign to me. It almost took me a while to get used to it, because I wasn't used to I'm so used to hearing music one way. Now this way, it was surprisingly joyful to listen to, but at the same time, kind of strange, if that makes any sense. So then Dennis had me make 4 more bass absorbers to fit on top of the bass absorbers that were already on the back wall. So now at that point, I had floor to ceiling bass absorption behind the diffusion on the back wall. Now we were left with a space in between the bass boxes and the ceiling, and between the foam ladders and the walls. So Dennis had these awesome pieces of foam already in wooden frames. So we put those all around the room to fill in those spaces and to just kind of tame any stray reflections that could be giving trouble. This foam has a quality to it like nothing I've ever really experienced before. I had foam in here before. Most of this room was covered in foam, and it was a rehearsal space. So I know what foam sounds like. This is very different sounding. It's musical. There's just it's designed for music and voice, and that is exactly what gets emphasized in this room. It's like the voice is rich, the music is rich. It's fantastic. So as I started playing more and more songs in this room and just getting a feel for everything, it was like it was like hearing these songs again for the first time, but like they were new songs. The detail, the extra elements, and just, the little subliminal things that are put into songs that, you don't know why you love that song, but then all of a sudden you can start hearing, I was like, oh, there's that shaker going on. There's just things that you notice because the detail is so much more than it was before. And even with all this new gear, the detail was a lot more, but once adding all this treatment in, it was even more on top of that. Well, when I played my own mixes from previous songs that I'd produced, listening to them now with all this treatment, it was quite an eye opener because I could hear what the room was telling me at the time, things that I thought sounded good, things that I thought were more balanced frequency wise. You could really hear where the deficiencies were. And that was very inspiring because I'll be able to make better decisions faster. I'll know what I'm working with without guessing. And I know now that the room is telling me the truth of what I'm really hearing. And that was the whole point of doing this in the first place. Originally, my thinking about acoustic treatment in a space was to make it quieter and, tame, balance the frequencies and all that kind of stuff. But now my thinking towards acoustics has changed to eliminating the room altogether, making the room smaller to sound bigger. And Dennis has mentioned that a number of times, but it actually is a real thing. Adding the mass to the room made my room smaller than it was, but the feeling I get while I'm in here, it feels like it's a much bigger room. I can only imagine what having like a 9-foot or 15-foot ceiling in a room would sound like. Like, it sounds so good like this. This is a rescue room. This isn't a build from scratch. So as it stands now, this room has just over 6,200 pounds of mass, MDF, activated charcoal carbon, and the foam. And I couldn't be happier about that. This is finally the room I've always dreamed of having, a room that I thought could not be fixed just because of its size and the really bad ceiling height, is a place now that I just love to be in. And it feels inspiring. It feels peaceful. It's like how you would imagine when you think, okay, I'm going to build a room or a studio or a space, you kind of have a feeling of how you want it to feel while you're in there. And I have that feeling now, being in this space with everything that I've done in here. Now is the time to just test and play more and more music, start tracking things, start experimenting, and start that new journey of discovery of what this room can actually do instead of dwelling on what this room can't do. I would like to thank Dennis Foley for his knowledge that he shared with me, his patience that he had with me. I asked him like 1,001 questions, and he always had an answer for me. Could call him all different times. This isn't just a cookie cutter situation. He created a solution for my room, just for my room. And you just don't see that every day. Also, I want to thank Donovan Stark, and I want to thank all of the other clients who took the time to make testimonials, because it helped me make my decision about taking the leap of faith. And this is a revolution. and I'm glad to be a part of it. But not everybody wants to join the revolution right away. And so these testimonials really helped me make my decision. That's why I'm here today, to say that everything that everyone else said, I've done it, and I can say it is exactly as advertised. And Acoustic Fields is Soldier for Hollywood approved. Thank you for watching.